Is someone here? There was just a little pop-up about a subscriber, but it doesn't say there's anybody in here in the viewing. Here is the hand of nails that I am about to take off so we can do these fall nails. Here's the thumb. It's a little hard to see because it's so light colored, but that's what it looks like. Scoot that out the way. Got these guys. Clear it up on that level. Let's take off this paint. Let's just set them there. All right, old nails removed. We are ready to put on the fresh peel-off base coat. I'm going to start with one thick coat of Orly's One Night Stand. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We're gonna have a good time here. I'm working on putting a new peel off base coat layer down. I just peeled off my previous nails. They were like denim jeans design. And so we're preparing our base for our next set so that we can easily remove it as well. My viewer counter doesn't seem to be working. It says 0, but I can quite clearly see there are 2 of you here. So thank you so much for actually saying something so that I would know. There we go. I've got that all painted on there. I'm gonna have to give that a few minutes to dry. It's like gooey while we wait for it to dry. I do have a little fan over here on the side that I'm probably gonna hold it in front of to speed up that process. Can you hear that fan? I hope not. What are you doing? What's your set? What's the design? What's the vibe? Let me know. I did post a little poll on my socials to see what kind of design we should do. And it looks like this is the one that we're going to work with. So I'm going to put down paint, but then these are the decals that I'm going to be using. I haven't 100% decided which ones for which nails yet, but I have a general idea of how I want to lay out the paint. So we're gonna work on it together. These are super cute. And we're gonna do a matte top coat for the finishing. So that'll be fun. I guess that can sit there while this dries. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Let me show you the other options that we did have as well while we're sitting here. So this was one of the contenders. I really like the leaves on here, and I may still do a set with them at some point. And then this one as well. And I really like the vibe of this one because it's so cartoony, but I think it is also super cute. Black set with skeletons and bones. Perfect for the season. I have done so many Halloween nail sets. You've probably seen a lot of like short posts about them, but there's more coming. We're running out of Halloween holiday time, so I'm like trying to get them posted, but Halloween's my favorite. I'm just really ready to start some fall nails though. A little variety. So that's why we're gonna do that. Let me show you what I've got going on over here though. Maybe it'll help if I make this. So I have this plate from Maniology. It's a maximalism plate. So it's just like this chaotic design. And so I put that on top of one of the new Orly polishes from their winter box, which the video for that won't post till the middle of November, but I thought they were really cute. I liked this purple because it's got like this green shimmer. Maybe you can see it, maybe not, I don't know. But I really like these. Hi Maria, welcome. So glad you've made it. Let's put some top coat on top of our peel off base coat. This is the cheap top coat that I use to protect between the sticky gooiness of the peel off and my harder, higher quality layer of the Sèche Vive. So just put this one on here, and then once this one's dry, we'll back it up with the Sèche Vive, and it just gives a shell-like base so that when I do peel it off, the nail paint is more inclined to come off in one sheet as opposed to a bunch of chipped pieces. If you don't wait long enough for this peel off base coat though, it likes to drag it along with the top coat. I don't like that. Thank you so much. You know what the good thing about Halloween nails though is you can do them any time of year if you want to. It's alright if spooky is in your heart, it's in mine. And I will be doing spooky nails all the time. I just heavily lean into it during the Halloween season. But like, I've got those spooky mermaid ones. I don't know if you saw them, but like mermaids are summer themed, but like zombie mermaids are every season. So I'm like, this is fine. And like the spooky flowery theme one, busted out during springtime. It makes sense. I'll find a way to make any season spooky. Alright, so now those have got to sit for a minute. You can see how they're fogging up. It's because that bottom layer wasn't very dry yet. But I'm going to hold it over here in front of the fan. I do have a nail dryer which makes hot air, but it's under my desk in a box because I don't have any space actively available on my desk for it. And my little fan over here is actually sitting on top of a power tower, so it has a very little footprint. I couldn't do that with my paint dryer, unfortunately. Alas, I need a nail room so I can have more space, and my nail desk doesn't have to be also my work desk. One day though, we'll get there. Yes, yes, exactly. They're making more spooky leaning designs for different types of themes, and I am also a fan of that. Like the whole spooky Christmas genre, I've got some stuff lined up for that too. The good thing about these top coats is they don't take near as long to dry as that peel off base coat, so I'll be able to put the second top coat on here real quick. Alright, let's do that. I've got the ultra low latency turned on for the chat, so I'm hoping the delay between when I say something and when you actually see it is low, and then when you say something and I actually see it is low. I don't know, but I know that oftentimes there's at least a few seconds. So if it seems like I am delayed, that's why. You can see how that one's much clearer than this one. It's because of this top coat. Yes, daughter.
Alright, let's take it still.
Hello, all. My daughter has come in to rob me blind. Don't worry about that, though.
I just needed a makeup wipe.
Alright, let's get this thumb done. That is what kids are for. You can't have nothing. God forbid it's food. You certainly can't eat nothing by yourself. Gotta go sit in the car to eat your snacks. It's terrible. Alright, now I'm going to hold that in front of the fan, and as soon as that layer is dry, we can start with the paint action. Let me show you, while I'm holding this over here, what we've got. So, we are going to use the Fallen Flaky Taco. I have this magnetic from Emily DeMolly. It's called Haunted Vibes. Technically it's a Halloween polish, but like, look at that color. That's fall time. That goes with this, right? So that's why we got those. And then I'm going to use this Orly. This is Nourishing Nude. It is like this sheer nude. It's my favorite one. It's the most natural looking one. And I feel like these complement this little set really well. And so those are the things we're going to use. Delvin. Fun fact, guys. Delvin is also burdened by the same child. That is the child who's always in his pocket and on his plate. They are really pretty. I stood over there, at the nail polish wall for a while looking at options, and I've got a few really great options, but I felt like for the color theme on this one, these tie together really well. I was almost put off by doing the magnetic and the flaky because they're like shimmery, because the designs themselves are not. But then I was like, you know what? We're not going to let that hold us back. It doesn't all have to be matte and cream, though it is going to be matte because we're going to put that matte top coat. The matte is going to still allow like the glow from the magnetic and stuff to shine through without it still being shiny. And I feel like putting this matte-ish design on top of something that is glowy is just going to give it more pop. So I decided that actually would be a complementary design. Fingers. Alright, let's gently touch this and see if we're... Oh god, we are not dry enough. Look what I've done. Let's see if you can see it. I hate how it does that when you change levels. Look. That's one thing. When you dry it in the fan, the cold air often makes the top coat shrink. So then when you breathe hot on it, it relaxes a little bit, but it's shrinking back up. It's one reason why doing it on its own time or in a warm dryer is beneficial. But what that did let me know is these are certainly not dry enough to work on just yet. They're dry enough to touch, but not dry enough to paint on. I'm going to turn this fan off though because it's freezing. I don't know about y'all, but it is cold and disgusting weather where I'm at. Let me check it out. So, right now, it is 59 degrees and raining, and the high of today is 60, so not much room for improvement. Okay, let's start with our painting. So here's the idea. I'm going to use the magnetic here, and nude, and magnetic, and nude. Yeah? So that's what we're going to do. I am going to get my giant horseshoe magnet out. Let me zoom this out a little bit. And this here contraption. So this is from Funny Business Lacquer. They made it with a 3D printer. I wish it had open sides or windows in the top, because the way this works is you put your magnet on it and then you're able to spin it around. Now for me, I like to hold this little stick to spin it, since I can't hold this, and so if I'm doing this part, it'll slide around a little bit. But basically, you put your finger in there centered, and then when you spin this, it gives you that glass bead effect. My complaint is I can't see where my finger is located because there's no windows. And so sometimes my glass bead is off to the side or too high or too low. And so if I could see in there, I would be able to make sure that I am placing it more appropriately. But we're just going to do the best we can. So. Let's shake this up just a little bit. Okay. And for these, I am going to be doing 2 coats of everything, but I'm going to glass bead each coat. You want to go with a bit of a generous layer. Like, obviously don't glob it on there to where it's running everywhere, but if you do it too thin, it won't have enough suspension to be able to move the particles around. So that's what that looks like. We did get a little bit. There we go. Now, before that dries, I'm going to do my best to center that. Let's hope that it is. And then I just spin this while I count about 30 seconds. So I'm going to do that in my head. I wish this stick were a little bit bigger, because grabbing onto it is kind of hard. Alright, so let's see how we did. It is off to this side a little bit because we couldn't see what we were doing. But as far as depth, not so bad. And we will have a second coat, so that might do something as well. But look how great that is. I really like that. That's a beautiful polish. It's going to go well. Now we have to do this finger, but 1 second, I have a message. Okay. Thanks, guys. I like it too. Let's get this one going real quick. I try to be careful up here around the cuticles so that I don't flood it. Sometimes I do anyway, but we do the best we can. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing here and try to center it. We'll see how it goes. It does help if you set this on a paper towel or something, because it has texture. It makes it less likely to slide, but I forgot. All right, let's see how we did on that one. Pretty good. I think we got that one centered much better than the other one. I am going to get this paper towel out though and set this on it, so when we do this next layer, we may not struggle as much. Funny Business Lacquer on her website. Okay, let me close this. We're gonna put down some of the nude while we wait for these to dry a little bit. Banging into stuff. You're welcome. All right, so you see what I mean with this one? It's sheer, so that it looks a little bit more natural, but it does still have that like nudie tone. So it's not just like completely clear. And I think 2 layers of this is going to be the perfect amount because it helps it with a little bit of opacity so it's not streaky, but you'll still be able to see through it. And then the thumb as well. The thumb is particularly important because like you can see those crinkly lines from where it shriveled up from the cold. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I'll just fan it like this. That way it's not as cold. All right, let's get to our second coat of the magnetic. And then hopefully this paper towel will help it stay in place. All right, I think we did a pretty good job on that one. That looks great. Now, because this is nail polish, that is going to disperse a little bit as it dries, but it is going to keep the beadiness of it so that it moves regardless of whether you go up and down or sideways. Very beautiful. It looks like it's kind of like glowing and floating in there. I think that's cool. Let's do the other one. See how this one's dispersed a little bit? That's kind of how it'll be. And I think that's cool too. It's like a fireball. Let's have a little more. There we go. All right. I think we did a good job on that one too. Now, this time I got it a little high. It's up here when I would have rathered it to be more centered. But again, we can't see, and it's also kind of off to the side. It's not ideal, but we're gonna be all right with it. That's how that's looking. I'm gonna put these out of the way. It lives on my shelf. You want to make sure you're not putting strong magnets like that near electronics because it can ruin them. Now we want to do our second layer of the orly. I guess we can zoom back in. There we go. Yup. And then this one. Perfect. All right, now we do have to really just wait a little bit of time because we need these to dry really well. And for the magnetic ones, before we go in with top coat, we're going to use this one, the Maniology Aqua Topper. It is a water-based smudge-free top coat, and that will keep your regular top coat from melting your magnetic pigments so that they don't disperse more than necessary. Like, they're gonna disperse some just because that's how it works. You can already see it happening. But if we protect that, then they'll stay a little bit tighter together when we do go in with our regular top coat, because regular top coat works by melting the top layer of your nail polish, and that's how it creates a smooth finish. And we don't want to do that when we have nail art. So this is what we've got, and we're going to be sitting for a minute. I'm already loving it. You know, I think this might be one of my favorite polishes because I've used it several times already. Let's see. You can't really see the fill line because I've had it dumped over, but you can kind of see where it's demarked, and it's like here, which isn't a lot, sure, but it's also relatively new. But I like it. Let's fan this. I've ordered an assortment of affordable cheap black and white nail polishes. So like currently, these are my two favorites. These are from Sally's, their finger paints brand, and they're like $4 and some change per bottle. I really like them. They're my go-to black and whites. But there are some cheaper options available from Walmart. So I got about 3 different options, and I'm thinking about doing a video in the next couple of months comparing what are the best affordable brand black and white nail polishes, because they're staple polishes. You use them for everything. I go through nearly as much black and white nail polish as I do like top coat, because you need it for line work, you need it for bases for things, you need it to put underneath toppers or shimmer polishes that you want to do like a combo to bring out that shimmer. So like there's just a lot of reasons why you're going to need more black and white than any other color. And when it's not the star of the show, it does not have to be the beautiful thing. It doesn't matter if it's top tier or not. But if we can get a good black and white polish for a very low price, why wouldn't we? So that's something that I'm thinking about doing, because if I can come up with an even more affordable option than the one that I'm already using, I would be happy to convert. And knowledge is power, and I am happy to share that knowledge with all of you. Uh-oh, we lost someone. Who was it? Who does not care about my ramblings? Let's do our aqua topper. Now, you're going to want to try and do a little floating with this. I suck at it, but you want to try to, because if you drag the brush bristles through your nail art or your magnetics especially, it can cause little like drag lines to where it makes it not shiny there, or kind of weird. I did a good job on that one. So I don't know, just try and do a little bit of float, but not with too much polish, because it'll like sit there and dry as a big goop bead, and that's not ideal either. There we go. So that one I didn't do as good a job, and I got quite a bit of it, so I'm going to wipe underneath here to help get off some of that excess. Let me just wipe this side just in case. But like you can see how this one's extra fat on this side now. Let's see if I can't try and wipe some of that off before it dries too much. There's a little bit. Yeah. Hope I didn't make any weird spots, but we won't know until later. Yeah, so that's going to take a little bit of time to dry. These water-based bases and tops take a long time to dry because they don't have the chemicals in them for quick drying. That's a great idea, Delvin. Definitely. I like to listen to nail YouTubers while I do other activities or be on my phone. So like, yes, it's good to be able to see, you know, at least have it somewhere where if you did decide to look, you can look at it. But to hear it, I find it soothing. I enjoy it. We're going to go in with our Sèche Vive and seal in these nude ones. It's going to be a minute before we can put this on top of those others though. We've got a hair. Get out of there. There we go. No hairs in the nail polish. It's gross. All right. Thumbs are one of the harder nails to paint because they lean over. So like this side is always harder to reach, and your polish wants to run to that side, so you're way more likely to flood the cuticle. Like I did. Amazing. Gotta get your clean up brush going. And while I was doing that, I banged this nail. Look at that. I hit it on the table, and there's not even a way for me to fix that without just completely repainting that nail. That annoys me a lot. That definitely annoys me. Gotta have better control of your own hands. There we go. Now these need to dry. I have a message. Oh. An item was substituted on my Walmart order. What could it have been? It's not all grocery. I don't know if any of it was grocery. It's the nail polish. They're trying to substitute the nail polish. No. I don't need you to give me more of what I already had. No, no, no. Gonna that one's okay because it's a white. I wish I could see, because I feel like it's already one that I put in here. I need to be able to see this order. Order details. Let me see it. Pardon me, guys. That. Yeah, I already ordered one of those. So no. I don't want two of that. I'll decline that one. That makes me mad. One of my black and white combos, the black wasn't available, so they just tried to give me a duplicate of one of the other ones, and that's not what I'm trying to accomplish here. Which means I'm going to have to get it later, I guess. I guess. Okay. Back to business. Let's gently try and touch this and see. It's tacky. So I'm going to say that's dry enough to put on this top coat. We're just going to, again, try and do a float gently. There we go. Now, if you'll notice, you'll often see it turn white or foggy when you paint on top of your water-based top coat, and that's because it's not entirely dry. But as it does dry, it will clear up, so do not worry if your water-based top coat turns white. That's just part of the process. This one is not nearly as dry as the other one because it's so thick. And I know that because look how it just drug this side over here. That looks really disgusting. And it created this big old unnecessary lump that now I'm over here trying to smooth out because that looks awful. And then you see it wants to pull it down. It's important that you give it enough dry time. I am an impatient person, so I often mess this part up, which makes my job harder, actually. But alas, it is a self-inflicted difficulty. Ugh, see, now look. It's made my line over here weird because I've pulled on it. It's very displeasing. Whatever. We can't always be perfect, right? It's so goopy. I really like to do these types of things like while I'm at work because then I'm busy doing work in between the steps, and so it has a lot more reasonable time to dry. The good news is these guys are dry, so we can start the nail art. Oh no, are we having lagginess? There's a warning that my latency. All right, get my little scissors. Got these little cute guys here. Gotta gently put your fingers into your scissors so you don't bang your nails. Now let's think about this. I know that I definitely want at least one butterfly, but maybe two. So I'm going to cut out both. You want to kind of cut really close to the design that you're going to use so you don't have a lot of excess hanging around. And you can always trim off more bits as you need. So I've got those two, and we'll set them down. And then, let's see here. I want one of these, so maybe I'll take one of these little leaves also. Cut this out. It's okay if you cut out more than you actually end up using. Like, just don't throw it away or anything. Just put it back in whatever container you use to store them. I keep these in a photo book. So we'll set those down as well. And then I feel like I want to use this maybe on that finger. Okay. Oop, careful. Got these wild fingers banging into stuff. Now, this one's cool, but it's got these words, and they're not in English, so I would need to trim them away. I feel like also I would like it if the leaves were going upwards, but where would I want to put that? Or would I rather use something else? Because like I do like these also. Maybe this one. Yeah. Let's take that one out. Hi, girl.
Hi.
There we go. And so let's kind of get these organized in our mind. Let me put these where you can see them. So I'm going to have this and this. Come on now. I think these are going to be on the 2 center fingers. And then we'll take this little butterfly and this leaf, I think. And actually, I kind of want to put them together over here on the index finger maybe. But I don't know how well they're going to show up. And then I guess we can take this big butterfly, but I kind of wanted to put a butterfly on my thumb. So I'll put that over there. Here's what we'll do. We'll put the butterfly in this leaf, and then we'll put this leaf with this one. Now, they're not going to be arranged particularly like that, but that's a good thing. And then for the pinky. The pinky. I don't want to cover it up. I mean, because it does have... Should I just take these other 2? That makes sense, right? I think so. Trim a little of this off. It's got a bunch. Okay. So that's going to be kind of our layout idea. Now I am going to put the Fallen Flaky on this thumb. Give it a little bit of extra something. So let's do that. Just shake it just in case, even though I don't think there's a bead in there. Let's zoom in so we can have a little look-see at it. That's pretty, right? I think so. Yeah. Not too much. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Sometimes it's hard to kind of theorize how you want it to be, and sometimes it doesn't come out in reality the way you envision it in your brain. We'll give that some time to dry, and while we do, we'll start preparing these. So I like to apply them with a jelly stamper. And so we will start with the 2 for the center nails since they are already dry. So you just put them on here face down. And then get you some water. And then you basically just get these wet. Be a little generous because the paper has to absorb it. And so this is going to make the paper separate and slide off. I'm going to set this to the side and we'll go ahead and get these other ones set up on their own stampers. I'm going to try and keep them near their partners so I don't forget. Look, almost lost one that quick. All right, let's have these two. And then we'll just have to use another stamper for the last two. Oh, my child is leaving the house. Okay. That's still quite wet. All right, so for this, let's test and see if it slides. It sure does. See how great that works? Now, if you are placing these on top of a light background, you don't typically need to do anything additional here. But if you're putting them on top of something dark, like the ones that we're going to put on these two, we're going to have to paint the back of it. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to see them. And then you can just like tap this with your finger to get the excess water off. Let's see if we can't slide these loose as well. Nope. Nope. That's not what we want. That's wet. That's wet. If you don't get enough water, it's going to make you do some more because it won't slide off. There we go. And close that acetone because I almost use acetone. That's not what we want to do. That'll ruin it. I'm going to take these little Post-its. They're like kind of clear plasticky. I use these for disposable palettes and they're sticky. So when I stick it to my little mat here, it won't slide away. And that's where I'll be able to sit my little bit of white polish. And I'll use stamping polish because it's nice and opaque to color in the backs of these small ones. There we go. We're getting these to slide off. Put them over here in the pile. There we go. So I've got those, and then again you can just like tap them with your finger to get the excess water. Okay. Now I'm going to put this white polish out. And in the meantime, while we're doing all this, I'm trying to be very careful with my hand so I don't mess up what we got going while we're getting this ready. But using the time to get this ready is giving my hand time to dry. Okay. Let's put this on here so maybe we can see it a little better. Now I am going to try very hard to stay in the lines. Oh, that one is still wet and the paint just spread. Didn't mess it up too much though. I don't know why these are still wet, because like it was a minute ago when we tapped that water off. And like when I touch them, they don't feel wet, but I can see that paint slide, which is strange. Now, one thing, when I go in to put these bigger ones on these center fingers, they've got these black lines. And because they're going on top of this light colored nail, we'll be able to see them. But if those lines are not long enough to go from the top of my nail to the bottom, we're going to have a gap. And I don't think I've got the nail art skill to hand draw the completion of those lines. Ew, we got a hair. So let's cross our fingers and hope that it just fits. All right, so now we can turn this over and you can see how opaque those are. Those would have been see-through had we not colored in the back. Now we got this little crew here. There we go. I'm going to set those to the side, and then we're going to bring these back because we're ready to apply them. We need to put some sticky base coat though on these two so they'll stick to it. I've got this one. I got it on Amazon. I have not been able to get another bottle though because it says this one's out of stock. And so I need to buy like the giant jug, but it's kind of expensive for a giant jug. And so I'm just like, trying to hold out while I still have some of this and hope that this size comes back in stock or the other one goes on sale or something. And then I can just refill this bottle. There we go. There. And then you'll want to give that like 30 seconds to start to dry and become tacky before you stick your art to it. That way it doesn't just slide away and mess up what you got going. More substitutions? Okay, so I'm going to go on the edge and just gently touch it, check its dryness. That's a good amount of dry. And then if I recall correctly, I wanted to use this one on this side for that nail. But as I'm looking down, it looks like those lines are not going to be big enough. We're going to do our best though. Yeah, you can see they don't reach. But a lot of nail art is designed for much smaller nails than I have. It's at least centered, so I'm going to be okay with it. this one is still significantly wetter. I put a thicker coat is why. Let's see. There we go. It's not too bad. I don't know if I should have put it more. Oh, goodness. There we go. I don't know if I should have put it more over here so that the leaf was more in the center, but I kind of wanted this edge to be as centery to the edge, so I think it had to be like this. But here's what we've got so far, and I do like it. Oop. These things like to fall over. Let's put some sticky base coat on this. I would typically top coat it in, but we're going to skip that step this time and just try and do a gentle job with this. This one's not full cover either. We're just putting these two on here, and I need to think about where I want to put them. Thank you. So these are for the pinky. What did we decide? We were going to use those two, the big one and the flowery thing. Yeah. So let's think about it. Maybe put it down here and then the leaf kind of up there blowing around. Or should the butterfly be on top and the leaf near the bottom? I kind of want the butterfly near the bottom. Yeah. Let's see. I can see the stem on the leaf, so the bottom of the leaf is that direction. So I want to make sure when I put it on there, it makes sense. Let me... I think I'm going to try and put the butterfly on the outer edge, maybe. But if I put it on this, yeah, because then when I do, yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. Let's check it. Goodness. Oh, boy, that's sticky. Okay. Just gently. There we go, and then I can tap that down with my finger. And then this guy up here, just gently as well. Okay. What do you think? I think that's pretty good. Not too much. Looks nice. Okay. Let's check these dudes. Yes. So while they're not completely dry all the way through, and you can tell that because of the foggy area, they're dry enough for us to put this art on. So again, sticky base coat to give it something to stick to. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's clear. And I'll put some over here. Thanks. That fallen flaky taco, I don't feel like I utilize enough. I really like it, and it looks good on top of all kinds of fall nail designs. I don't feel like I use toppers as much as I would like, because I always tend to end up putting art, and I don't want to cover my art with topper, and then I don't want to cover my topper with art so that you don't see it anyway. So sometimes you gotta just decide. But this one I think is pretty good because you can see a good amount of it. But also, just a nice cream with one of these toppers looks dazzling. And that's kind of the direction I thought I was going, but then I deviated. Now on the index one, we'll put the butterfly on the top since we did it on the bottom over here. Look at my fingers. They're dirty with nail polish, but that's okay. Let me fan this around a bit. Now, once we get all these on here, we're also going to use that aqua topper on top of these, because if you go on top of your water decals with your regular topper, as it dries, it shrinks and it rips your water decals apart. They'll be all cracked up. So you need that water-based top coat to protect them from that happening. All right, let's see here. There we go. And then that's our little leafy. There we go. So there's those two. And then over here, something similar. Get that one. And that one. Perfect. So we've got all of our water decals in place. Just once over, make sure everything is tamped down. And then we're gonna go in with our aqua topper. Let's have a look. That battery just died. Perfect time to change it. 1 second. Okay, yeah. We are back. Here's what we've got. Looking good. Got this disgusting white spot, but that's okay. That's just because that wasn't dry. There's this. We're going to have some more of that very same problem. So it's going to be probably later this afternoon before I get to take the photos of these, because I'm going to want them to be nice and clear before I do that. Well, look at you using my custom emojis that I made. They're so funny. Did you thumbs down me? Why would you thumbs down? You don't like my nail art, Dylan? You don't think this is cute? I think it's cute. They're very fall time. Oh, I put the technical difficulties on so that I could change the battery on the camera and that you're not just looking all in my abdomen. You know what it looks like. I don't want to scare the viewers. It's horror season and all, but like, not everybody wants to see that. Is my Walmart arriving? Glam Nail Beauty, welcome in. Thanks for coming. Just one second. Let me see. Oh, my Walmart is just leaving the store. Cool, 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 cool. We have this GPS. Okay, so let's review. Here's what we've got so far. We're just waiting for this aqua topper to dry so we can put on our final top coat. And then once everything is dry and turns clear again, I'll be able to take photos, which I don't know when I'm going to post said photos, probably just randomly. So definitely make sure you're following my socials and all that good stuff so you do see them. After we get this dry, we're gonna seal it all in with the good top coat, and then once that's dry, we're gonna mattify. Though these are real pretty, and I am inclined to leave them shiny. So if it turns out that I hate it matte, I can always turn it back shiny. Be careful not to use too much aqua topper because it really does just bulk up. I'm going to try and wipe the edges of these to help with that. Yeah. That's kind of our status at this time. They're so cute. It was, I would say quick, but that would be a lie. It wasn't that quick, but it was definitely easy. You know, you can see that the aqua topper is super thick right here because there's just like this bubble of it. Let me see if you can see it. Yeah. Yeah, it's best if you can put that on thin, but I do a bad job of that because you can't really see it. Thank you. We're going to find out. I know that the glow will still be visible, but it's going to look a little bit more like ambient, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. And if I want to turn them back shiny, I can, but I bet they're gonna be really nice looking. These are gonna take a minute to dry. Let's just flip this up here to chat mode, I guess, while we wait. So tell me, guys, what kind of nail sets are you plotting on doing over the upcoming week or two-ish as we're leaving the Halloween season and entering into fall nails? What kind of ideas have you got in mind? We don't get a long time for fall. It's basically November, and then it's Christmas. Definitely. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't utilize my matte top coat as much as I would like to, but it's because I'm a fan of shiny. I love a sparkle. I love a glitter. And that changes with matte. Though matte looks great, and it's easier to photograph because you don't have to worry about glare and light lines. Natural light is the best light for photography, but it's raining, and it's disgusting. So we're going to have to work around that too. When my Walmart gets here, I'm going to turn on my technical difficulties and go get it because they'll leave it at the porch and I just have to bring it inside, so it won't take very long. Yeah. I love when I see other people do their nail art and cover it in matte, and then it just reminds me of why I should do that more. I'm like, that's so great. I need to do it. And then, you know, that shiny urge comes up, and you're like, well, I do love a shine. I'm getting hungry, guys. I've got this here soup. It's chicken enchilada. It's quite delicious. It's cold now. I need to heat it up. That's what I'm working on eating. I keep banging my chair into this little thing I've got clamped to my desk. Have you guys started your Christmas shopping? I've been making an attempt. Exactly, Jessica. I'll do it next time. And next time may never come, but maybe it will. We'll see. Yeah, I don't have a long list of people that I have to buy Christmassy things for. However, I do have a short list. And I'm trying to, you know, work on that now so that it doesn't become a burden later. But it's really hard to shop for people who don't really need anything in particular. So I'm just like, what am I supposed to do here? So tell me. I think everybody else has started because every time I go to the store, it's just full of people these days. And I'm like, is today shopping day? Is every day shopping day? When am I supposed to go when it's not full of people? Oh no. Are you going to wait till the last minute and then have to go and fight the customers to get them out your face? Or just order it? That's my method. I like to do that the best. But sometimes I have to go to the store for things, especially if they're clothes. There's always people in there. And they mess up the stores. I don't like that. Oh, my stuff is 1 minute away. I will be right back, you guys. You hang on. You can talk to each other. I'm back. I got my stuff. It's over there. Delvin. This is why you always got to buy socks and underwear for dudes, because they just disappear somehow. I don't know where they go. Crazy. But I think we've waited long enough that we can put our top coat on here. There we go. Make sure it's nice and clear. It's about time for me to refill this because I'm really having to tip it over. So, like, I have this bottle that I refill this smaller one out of, and I've refilled it so many times, and that's not even the first time I've bought that bottle, because I use a lot of top coat because I change my nails a lot and I do a lot of nail art, so there's a lot of layers. But that's a lot more of an affordable way. Like, I can't remember how much that bottle is. It's not cheap, but these little ones are like 12 bucks a piece, and you get like 8, maybe more refills out of those big bottles. So it's a lot more affordable to buy it that way. I wish I could buy the aqua topper in a big container. That would be great, because I have to buy those individually and they're not very cheap. Especially on staples. Sticky base coats I use a lot of, so that's why I got a big bottle. Top coats I use a lot of, so I need a big bottle. I also can't get my peel off base coat in a big bottle, unfortunately, or I would, because I've bought so many of those because I peel off every set. So I go through a lot of them, but I mostly buy the E-Nail Couture one because it's like $6 per bottle, whereas this Orly one is like $12 or $13. That's a lot. So, all right. It's really making me work for it. I'm definitely going to have to refill this bottle before I do my next nail set. All right, now, got to do a little light line examination. You kind of like turn it this way so that you can look and roll it around and see if you see like any streaky or dry spots. That way, you know, if you got a good even coat, you don't want a raggedy coat with problem areas, because then you have to do another coat. That one might have a hair in it, but I can live with that. Though it's annoying because I can see the thing. Alright. Now, I'm going to clean up with my cleanup brush and some acetone here, because sometimes I paint on my finger, and when it's top coat, it's invisible and you can't see it until you turn it into the light. So that's how I was able to just see there was some there. Got a little flaky taco over here. All right, now we'll just give this some time, and then all we'll have left is the matte. Got an Orly matte top coat. It's about half full. This is the same one I've had. I've never replaced it, and it's my favorite one. I did a matte experiment because I've got like a whole shelf of matte top coats. They're not all created equal. I like the ones that are super, super matte and they give you that like chalkboard finish, whereas some of them are more like a satin matte. So it's like, it's still shiny, but like dampened down. And I don't like that. I like it all or nothing, either be super shiny or super matte, not halfway. All right, let's see if we can't speed this along. Now, even once this is all finished, we're still going to have to be like responsible and careful with it because all of these layers are not dry in between. And so if you were to bang your hand or shove it into something, you could potentially dent, scrape, gouge your actual layers of paint and ruin that nail. So for like a good 24 hours after you paint your nails, especially with multiple layers, you just want to be really careful with it and give it the sufficient amount of time that it needs for it to dry all the way through. One good thing is it thins as it dries. So even if it's a little bit bulky, it's going to become less bulky, but it's going to take that amount of time before it's like really hard and trustworthy. Okay. These are ever so dry. I can touch them as long as I'm being gentle, and so that is good. That's dry enough we can put the top coat on. Here's what we've got. Look at that shine. It's so pretty. What do you think? That's going to be beautiful. But let's mattify. Try to do a good job when you matte and get it all the way to the edges, because I am notorious about getting it close, but then there's like a shiny perimeter at the top, and that's not desirable. So I'm going to try and do a good job. Just sorry if my head's in the way. There we go. I'm going to use my cleanup brush because I definitely painted down on the side of my finger. And we'll see that start to mattify as we work our way across these other fingers as well. Okay. I think I did all right on that one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This one I'm going to have to do a little cleanup because I did get it on my finger just now. There we go. You can already see it. You can still see that glow, but it's working on it. Look, just the difference between this one and this one. That shine is working on vanishing. Let's get this thumb. And this one I definitely painted across the top. There we go. Now, we'll let that dry and then we'll have a look and hopefully I didn't miss any spots. Hopefully. That is so thick though, and I don't know if adding thinner would help. I think it would probably compromise the matter. So, I really just need some more. It's coming along. These white spots are so unappealing. It's a good thing they'll disappear. Okay. There. Let's have a little look-see. Here's what we've got. And again, these whites are going to clear up over the next few hours, but it's going to take a few. What do you think? There we go. So that's the glow. You can still see it moving. That's good. We didn't ruin it. I think these are cute. I do still like them. I don't think that mattifying them was a bad decision. And then here's our thumb. That one's not as dry as the others yet, so it's still got that satin sheen, but that should dry up some. Let's see if we can bring it down a little bit. Turn it around. It's cute. It's like the leaves are blowing in the background, and then this one has blown up near the foreground as this butterfly flies by. I like it. I think it's good. I'm definitely going to get some photos once they are clear though, so be on the lookout for those. I am looking forward to seeing how they come out. I think it's going to be real nice. it is a perfect start to fall, and I'm ready. I'm ready for fall nails. I'm ready for fall outfits. I'm ready for fall flavors. Yes. Okay. Well, that's it for this. It took us almost 2 hours. Almost. To do this one hand. Thank goodness I only do one at a time, huh? But thank you so much for coming. Thanks for hanging out, keeping me company. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some of this informational, and if you learned anything from what I did or from my mistakes, then that's even better. But I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.